And sometimes it can happen, you know, sometimes you can have an off day, or an off game, or an off series. Ooh. But enough about that, because now here we are in our first qualifying match of the day. A bit of a TVP, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the Chinese Terran player representing KZ Gaming, KZG. It is time. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have the German Protoss player. He is red, representing Big Esports, or Big? Just Big. It is ShoWTimE. So, Funada Pig, because I thought that Pig was casting Lambo versus ShoWTimE, but as I got into this series, I am the only English caster here, and this is our first qualifying match. So, I hope everyone else, I hope they have good excuses, I guess is what I should say. Again, we were told where Rotterdam was. I was expecting Pig to show up here as well, but it seems like he has another series instead. Meanwhile, we have our first best of 5. You know what that means? That means the winner of this series will qualify for DreamHack Last Chance. My God. And who is it going to be? Personally, I hope Time is able to perform well here and even make it to the main event. But I know there are a lot of ShoWTimE fans. I know ShoWTimE himself is a little bit more renowned. He has a little bit more fame to his name. For the longest time, he was the best Protoss player in Europe. I would still say that actually, that he is probably the best Protoss player in Europe. But you know, there have been a couple of other contenders, especially in the last 2 years. You know, MaxPax has been on the rise and is incredibly young and has just been continuing to improve. So I know a lot of people want to bring him up. In general, there have been just a lot of Protoss players in Europe that have been rising up through like mid-tier and getting into that top tier. But I almost said Shine. ShoWTimE is still at the top, and he's here to prove that. We'll have a ping disadvantage, to be fair, but we'll see if that really does come into play. Meanwhile, Time did have a bit of a cheeky opener. He did try and pretend, try and deceive ShoWTimE into thinking there was a proxy, but ShoWTimE with his scout, he confirmed where the Rax was at the natural. He's like, okay, it's fine. He's like, mate, what are you doing? So, yeah, I mean, Time trying to be a little bit cheeky, but didn't really work out in the end. Other than that, everything is looking pretty standard. Probably the biggest thing is that Time did skip his Reaper. He went straight into Marine production, so because of that, early on, he's in the dark. We can see, we're looking at his vision right now. He sees nothing. He has no idea what the opener is. If there was a proxy out there, he would have no idea either. Like, he's being very greedy with his lack of information. Really focusing on himself, not so much what his opponent is doing. And there are pros and cons to this, right? You could argue maybe the Reaper isn't as valuable, or you want to cut some corners and be a little bit more efficient elsewhere. As Time is just working on his Widow Mines, and I imagine gonna be working on a Widow Mine drop. Meanwhile, we did have a Stargate opener from ShoWTimE, and that's like one of 2 things that we typically see in this matchup. Obviously, there are fringe cases, but instead of a Blink Stalker opener, we do have that Stargate. And pretty interestingly enough, he actually goes for a second Oracle, not going immediately into Phoenixes. First Oracle does get across the map. Time does spot this as the Oracle tries and dip into the main base. Up. Doesn't get in, doesn't get baited by that Widow Mine. There was a Widow Mine here hidden behind that gas geyser. Time was hoping that ShoWTimE would commit, but ShoWTimE is a little bit wiser than that. He saw it, he backs off, doesn't lose his Oracle. And now it's ShoWTimE's turn to go across the map. At the moment though, he doesn't really find too much success, does back off. Again, those Widow Mines are still here at home to defend against those air units. You also don't want to get your drop caught out by Phoenixes. Speaking of, Phoenix production has commenced here for ShoWTimE. We already have our first Phoenix, but we do see that he's transitioning. Robo's already done, and a Twilight Council is on the way. So he doesn't intend to go mass Phoenix like Time could think. Because again, Time he doesn't care, mate. He doesn't care about what his opponent's doing. He's like, whatever, man. I'm chilling. Again, he's gotten some scouting information from what he's seen here as he's trying to corral the oracles towards his marines. Almost catches them, but not quite. And the Phoenix production is continuing. Again, Phoenixes provide so much utility, CCing and disabling tanks or even Widow Mines in major engagements. So he's going to do his best to keep them alive. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE hasn't really gotten any economic damage with these oracles, but he's been able to consistently tag the army and have eyes on things. Speaking of, he's able to spot this move out from time. Doesn't necessarily see the SCVs with this, but he can assume. As this is a very strong push. What do we have with this? We don't have stim, we don't have combat shields, vanilla 0-0 marines, but with 2 tanks and 2 Widow Mines. Oh my god! Are we gonna shade in? I was like, do we want to do this? We do not, but the SCVs are here to throw down bunkers and even missile towers to protect those tanks from the Phoenixes. Meanwhile, that's a lot of adepts on the ground. Phoenix is trying to find a way in, and they do pick up the tanks, but ooh, they take the Widowmine shots to the face, despite seeing them. Immediately, both Oracles and Phoenixes go down, and we do see the Protoss army trying to break through, but the tanks are doing so much work. The Vikings land, and ShoWTimE is going to lose everything. GG. Oh my god, ShoWTimE didn't have to fight at the third like that. He was ahead in workers, ahead in bases when he threw down that revelation, and when he saw those Widow Mines and all those buildings, I was like, okay, I'm sure he's just gonna back off, take this a little bit slow, you know, get a shield battery at the natural, right? But no, he doubled down. It's possible that he just didn't notice the Widow Mines because like he took those Widow Mines to the face. So maybe he didn't notice them in that moment. But my god, that was brutal. Another fun fact: Time didn't scout his opponent outside of that push. Like he was just doing his own thing at home, went for the push. Hey, it worked. This is Berlingrad. Hey, if there was ever a map to pull boys, it is that map. I love it. Crazil in the chat. Time is such a boss. He just didn't care. He was like, you know what, Protoss, you can do what you do. I'll do what I do. And that is win. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Blackburn LE. We have the Chinese Terran player representing KaiZ Gaming and up in this series. It is time. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Blackburn LE, we have the German Protoss player representing Big. Currently down in this series, but it's okay. It's a best of 5. We have plenty of matches ahead of us. It is ShoWTimE. Oh boy. Yeah, one explosive game 1, and I'm a little bit concerned. So, a lot of what happened in game number 1, I've said this before a couple of times, even today in this broadcast, and it applies. It was because of the map. Like, Berlingrad has the shortest rush distance, so when you go for a 2-base all-in, it just hits, you know, it's best case scenario on a map like that. And that's why it can hit so hard. And I will say the same about Blackburn as well. Like, the rush distance by ground is insane. And Terran players typically don't want to play a late game against Protoss. You know, if they can end the game early, they'll do it at every turn. So I expect to see something aggressive once again. I don't expect to see the same build though. Like, again, Time, he's a better player than that. I'm sure he's got plenty of different builds up his sleeve. Kind of like this. He goes across the map with the SCV, and a bunker is already on the way. ShoWTimE is in the dark, but oh no, never mind. He does see that bunker. He does spot it. And now he can prepare. Meanwhile, this time, Time... Okay, it's going to be so awkward saying time so much. ShoWTimE, Time, this time. Oh god. Save me, please. He does not skip his Reapers. The Reapers are coming across the map. You think to scout? Really, it's to get into this bunker. A second SCV is pulled to ensure that the bunker is completed, and it is. And just like that, ShoWTimE is forced to throw down a shield battery. Again, it doesn't take much to deal with this bunker. Like, again, a Stalker and a shield battery is enough. But oh, Time recognizes that, and he's actually going to force a cancel. Oh my god. Shield battery does not complete. And that means it's gonna take that much longer to deal with this bunker. Oh my god. Crazy. Oh god. And here we go. ShoWTimE is doing the best he can to deal with this, but again, like, he has to be so careful with this Stalker, and he has to wait until the shield battery completes. Meanwhile, Reaper production did not stop. Third Reaper is about to rock up, and with 3 Reapers, with 2 Reapers, like, you can deal a lot of damage. You can dance between this bunker and going into the main base and focusing down workers. God, it's incredibly annoying to deal with. Even pulls out some of the SCVs to repair. Oh, the micro! He keeps it alive! Oh my god. And as all this is happening, Time is following this up with 2 more Raxes. It is going to be a 3 Rax follow-up, a very strong buyer push on the ground. Stim is on the way. This is going to hit like a truck, and ShoWTimE hasn't seen any of this. He's too busy trying to deal with the bunker that still refuses to die. There we go. We do have an overcharge. With the overcharge, ShoWTimE should be able to overpower everything here. Oh my god, the repair is still pretty good though. Ah! The second SCV finally goes down, and with the death of the SCV, finally we're going to be seeing a kill on this bunker, and Time has to evacuate. But that was so annoying. And you may be thinking, like, well, what was the purpose of that? See all these probes? They were all in the main base. There was 0 mining happening here at the natural. Like, the amount of loss. Look at the graph! Just look at it deep in the blue. Like, Time was so far ahead of the economy there, just forcing so much less mining time, keeping ShoWTimE down. Now he's ready for the 1-2 push. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is not going to take this lying down. He goes across the map with an Oracle. He will deal some damage, but what's important is not the SCV kills. What's important is the fact that he saw all 3 Raxes. He has the information. What does he do from here? He has to prepare. He cannot be too greedy. I would recommend not to take a 3rd base. Just chill on 2 bases for now. Get some shield batteries. Maybe even get a shield battery and take this seriously, because the Marines are coming, and the Oracle sees it. The Oracle does spot all these Marines, and ShoWTimE has to prepare at home. Overcharge is back. It is now available. We do have 1 shield battery. I worry if 1 shield battery is going to be enough, though. Meanwhile, Marines and a Marauder are about to rock up. Because of that Marauder, like, he could focus fire that shield battery incredibly well, but that is why ShoWTimE just warps in 3 of these sentries. Force fields are going to keep ShoWTimE alive. Time, he just checks the 3rd base. If there was a 3rd, he would immediately try and cancel it, but because there is none, then he's going to try and push up this ramp. But, oh, the force fields! Up! Oh, a couple of these Marines do get targeted down, but so does a Stalker. My god. And not too many losses. What was that, 2 Marines? Not bad. Time behind this, he's working on +1. He's working on a factory. Like, he's not all in. He's getting ready for a 2nd wave. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE, he feels like it's safe enough to take a 3rd base, and it is, to be fair. Like, he has a decent army, he's got sentries for force fields, he's working on a robotics bay for that splash damage, whether it's Colossus or Disruptors. I imagine Colossus, but we'll see what ShoWTimE decides, and there it is. We do have a Colossus on the way. And again, that's going to be key in the defense. Something that's a little bit worrisome is, I mean, he is being a little bit greedy. He's only relying on 3 gateways right now. He's trying to tech up as best he can to get those high-tech units. But that means that he's a little bit vulnerable right now. The army is back, and +1 alongside alongside concussive shells finishes up. Oh boy, let's go. Can ShoWTimE protect the 3rd base? I don't know if he can. A lot of this is going to be about the force field. He stims forward. Can he focus down these units? The shield battery is not done yet. Yo, and all 3 of those sentries immediately go down. The shield battery goes down as well. And the target fire is good enough, but oh, the Colossus comes out just in time. The saving grace for ShoWTimE. If it wasn't for that Colossus, everything would be dead. The Immortal, the Stalkers, and from that, the 3rd base. So thank God for that Colossus. Meanwhile, Time is about to show up with the rest of his army with a couple of medevacs, so if he wanted to, he could try and drop into the main base. ShoWTimE is ready for that, though. He does have his Stalkers in position. Doesn't have Blink, but regardless, they are here ready and waiting for the drop. Oh, he boosts in, and he boosts out. Doesn't commit. It's not what we want to see. Behind this, ShoWTimE is taking a third base. It's not the gold, unfortunately. Meanwhile, he wants to pick off whatever he can and almost gets a Stalker. Oh my god, please! Calm down, ShoWTimE, calm down. And in comes the rest of the army. Yo, he's getting himself set up for a Doom drop. And I feel like this could work. Just because we don't have Blink, right? The Twilight Council was delayed. ShoWTimE, he prioritized his splash damage over things like his upgrades for his gateway units. So because of that, Stalkers are going to have a hard time stopping this. Here we go. The boost comes in. Is he going to commit? He commits. Oh, he loses the full medevac. 2 medevacs immediately. Oh my god. There were just so many Stalkers, and just like that, I think it's going to be enough to defend. I mean, the Marauders are doing a great job at focusing down these Stalkers, but with the overcharge, with the Colossus, like, there should be enough. Maybe? Oh, he gets one of the Colossus. Oh, that kind of makes this worth it. Kind of. Mate, Time had no fear there. He lost 1.5 full medevacs, mate. That was insane. That was a lot of supply going down the drain, mate. He did get a Colossus, but he lost a tank as well. I don't know if it was worth it. I'm gonna say no on that one. Especially because now Blink is gonna finish up, so ShoWTimE is gonna have a much easier time dealing with these drops and denying them. Speaking of drops, we do have a double drop here towards the north, just in time to try and deny the fourth base. Colossus are trying to respond, but I think it's going to be a little bit too late. There we go, forces the cancel. Again, at least these drops are finding damage. Again, especially with that questionable Doom drop, mate. It's right into the Stalkers as well. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE working on his fourth base, getting his production up and running. +2 is on the way. So even though ShoWTimE did lose a chunk of supply, like he's still in this, especially if he gets a gold base. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE has had enough of being the receiver of all of this aggression and harassment. He's like, nah, man, now it's my time. The turns have tabled. The War Prism is going into the main base with a couple of Zealots. Well, we have a couple of Marines, but only 2, so a couple more units will have to be forced back. War Prism does commit, though. And this drop doesn't deal too much damage. It just pulls the army back. There we go. ShoWTimE finally turns around, wants to hit the top left, but the Colossus are already waiting on top of the ramp. ShoWTimE, please scan ahead of time. Please, don't walk up the ramp. Don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, okay. He does notice, he does see with his medevacs. At the same time, War Prism is looking to dive back in. We do have a couple of missile darts on the way, but they're not done. They're not ready. But we do have a couple of Marines and Marauders ready, so Time will be able to clean this up. He's all good. He's all safe. He doesn't find a way into the fourth. Instead, he rotates around towards the south, but there is a spotter Zealot, so ShoWTimE is well aware. He's rotating as well. Yeah, ShoWTimE, so far, his defenses have been pretty solid. Even if it wasn't for that Zealot, there is an Observer here just to spot the entire army. I spoke too soon. But I love this. Every single time ShoWTimE loses a couple of Zealots, he just sends them out again to scout, to spot. It's so important to be aware of where the army is. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE doesn't have any vision here. We do see a scan, but Time thinks better of it, especially now that Archons are coming into play. It's like, mate, you need Ghosts. And that's exactly what we see. Ghost Academy is already done. Do we have enhanced shockwaves? We do not, so we do not have the Ghost upgrade, but at least we have some Ghost production. And actually, ShoWTimE, a little bit slow to respond, but he gets here anyway. He's ready. He's good. Tanks do siege up. But I don't know if Time can find too much damage here. He'll pick off a shield battery. Yo, he may get a straight Archon. Yo, with 4 tanks behind this. Oh, God. The Zealots might want to think twice about pushing in. At the same time, Time wanted to push into the natural. Oh, and he's going to be able to break this position. He gets on top of the tanks. 2, 3 tanks go down. Not just 3, but the entirety of this army. Forces Time to pick up, and honestly, if Time had everything here at the north, I think he could have broken him. Like, with 4 tanks, like, I know Time was trying to be fancy with some multi-prong, but if everything was here, he may have found some success. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE, now he's the one with his split up army. He doesn't know. He doesn't know that everything is rotated towards the north. There's nothing down here. This army is just wasting its time. And now in comes Time. The EMP lands and connects with the army. Shield Battery is trying to do what it can, but there we go. We see the stim on forward. We need everything here, ShoWTimE. We need the disruptors. More EMPs land on the Archons. And now finally the Novas are here. Is it going to be enough? Up, up. The Purification Novas do go off and they do connect with the army. And just in time, ShoWTimE is able to protect the space. Only loses 3 workers. Not bad. I see Saberlight in the chat. Suicide Squad. Oh, God. True. Very true. There we go. Enhanced Shockwaves finally on the way. Halfway done. But unfortunately, like, Time committed so much to that push. Like, the 4 tanks from earlier, as well as the entirety of his army. He was looking to at least get a kill on a Nexus, and he just traded against Archons and Immortals. Just quickly checking, did he get another Colossus? He didn't. That one Colossus death is from earlier, from the main base. So he just really hasn't had much success with these engagements. And ShoWTimE, I mean, there's a reason why they call him the Wall. Demao, mate. He's just solid. Even where there was a moment of weakness, even when he was split up and he only had half his army here to meet the army of Time, like, it didn't even matter. He was still able to respond and still able to defend. And now we've gotten to the point where we have 3 Colossus. We have 5 Disruptors, by the way, which is insane. We have all these high-tech units. Now, the only thing ShoWTimE needs is maybe a bit of a Gateway Explosion, which he already has, and just to supplement this army and buffer this army a little bit, and he's golden. Meanwhile, I love what Time is doing. He hasn't tunnel vision too much on just Ghost. He has started Liberator production. Lib Range is on the way as well. This does so well against Ground Toss. And how do you deal with Liberators with range? Sky Toss. Oh, and ShoWTimE, he's already getting ready for it. 2 more Stargates thrown down. A Fleet Beacon thrown down. I was like, there's a window here. There's a window where Liberators can go uncontested in the air. And ShoWTimE, he's already getting ready to close that window. The window is still there, though. It takes a while for these Stargates and the Fleet Beacon and the eventual Void Rays or Tempests or Carriers to come out. So until that time, our Chinese Terran, he can maybe abuse that. Again, we only have Blink Stalkers to deal with these Liberators, as we have 3 Liberators being produced at a time. Jesus Christ. Meanwhile, I don't know if Shine wants... Shine? I keep saying Shine. ShoWTimE. But I don't think I've ever even casted Shine before. Not in my time. I don't think he wants to push in yet. Like, there's a lot of lib zones. There's a lot of freedom here from our Chinese Terran. As weird as that sounds, Kappa. ShoWTimE doesn't want to push in. He does have a lot of DTs, though. At any moment, they could just show up and right-click on a CC. Do you see a scan? ShoWTimE sees. Time sees, even. Oh, God. Looks like Time will force a cancel on this fresh base. Oh, God. I'm falling apart. Oh, DT's even scanned. And EMP'd. Oh, God. Ah! The Disruptors! Please! Back up! Back up, Papi! But this is what I'm talking about. There is no answer to these libs. He can just bully the Protoss back. There are just so many zones. We need something in the air. We have Carriers on the way. I don't know if Carrier is the best unit here right now. Again, Tempest would have been amazing. Oh, God! The Nova goes off. A Ghost will go down. Another Nova goes off as well. But look at this. Look at this zoning. Like, how does ShoWTimE push down this ramp? He doesn't. And just like that, a base will go down for free. We do have a couple of warping in Zealots, but it's not going to be enough. He tries to blink down. Comes in with his DTs as well. He's going to try and break this position, and it looks like he will. Oh, my God. I thought he couldn't do it, but Time spread himself a little bit too thin, was a little bit too distracted here towards the north, and ShoWTimE was able to take advantage of that. He will lose a lot of his army. I don't want to understate that. He lost all of his Disruptors. He only has a single Colossus left. That was a very expensive trade for ShoWTimE. But you could argue that, hey, he wanted to get rid of his army because we have Skytoss. We have Carriers. We have 3 Carriers at a time. Like, ShoWTimE wanted to refine his army that bit more, and now he's mixing in more Disruptors. He's mixing in High Templar for Storm, for feedbacks as well. Like, ShoWTimE is perfecting his army. And Time wasn't really able to rebuild what he lost. He does have a decent bio force, and he's about to rock up, but again, ShoWTimE, he's just so quick with his responses. He's gonna try and push in. One of my shots are gonna go off. But again, like, there's no answer to the carriers. Or the Colossus. Like, we need Ghosts, we need EMPs, we need Vikings. Liberators, not so much anymore. They'll help, to be fair. We need everything, okay? We need everything from time. Oh god, here we go. All the Ghosts were here towards the south. We were to clean up this run by. And we'll see how good these EMPs are going to be. The problem is that it's not just about the EMPs though, like that Viking count. I feel like there are too many lives. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this amount of lives is okay. We'll see. Just because so much of the supply is in the air right now. There are only 2 Vikings. Oh god, the purification levels are going off. Do zone out the army. There's some nice EMPs on the carriers, but what about the interceptors? Oh, the interceptors are trying to fight the bio. I don't know if that's the best move there. A couple of storms do connect. Oh god, is it going to be enough? There are only 2 liberators remaining as the backbone of this army. And ShoWTimE is forcing this back. He's doing it. Like, despite that fight, despite losing almost every single one of his interceptors, you can see the interceptor count is incredibly low. ShoWTimE didn't lose any carriers, and that's what matters. Like, ShoWTimE has a massive bank. He can afford to rebuild interceptors. That's fine. And ShoWTimE, Time is struggling to rebuild the army that he's losing as quickly as he's losing it. There we go. Colossus just giving up for free. Colossus didn't matter at this point. Carriers are just having a field day with all this. At the same time, here we go. We do have a couple of Marines and Marauders to harass. A lot of SCVs, a lot of probes are going down. But you could argue at this stage of the game, did ShoWTimE really want those probes? Maybe. He's making 6 at a time. Jesus Christ. A couple of Novas go off. Mistletoe's just buying some time here. Meanwhile, now it's ShoWTimE's turn to harass across the map. But we have some tanks. We have some Widow Mines. It's all good. What's worrisome is that this is supply that's not a part of the main army. That's the worrisome thing here. It's not going to be a part of the big fight. I'm not saying that this will be that useful in the big fight, just that it's used up supply, right? Bit of a pathing error. Couple of Stalkers go down for free, but it's only Stalkers, not the biggest of deals. Again, it's all about the carriers, it's all about the disruptors. And the High Templar. And the Storm. Oh god. And the Stalker apparently, as it snipes the CC, the repairs were not in time. Also, I apologize if I say time too much. I know. We need a counter on how many times the word time has been said in this series. It's a best of 5. Like, regardless of who wins here, we still got more games to go. I apologize, everyone. Oh god, here we go. Libs, they're edging ever closer. They're zoning out all these disruptors. The ghosts are coming in. We're gonna see another nuke. The Marauders are trying to chip away at the sack defense. Nova goes off. Oh, on a decent chunk of those Marauders. Storm is gonna try and soften up some of these Libs and Widow Mines. But those Libs, they're finding a lot of room here. Maybe overextending a little bit. Decent EMPs on every single one of those carriers. But is there a follow-up? Do we have enough Vikings? That's a lot of Vikings. Quickly check the units tab. 16 already out. Oh my god, the Liberators are just killing everything. Oh my god, the Gateway Army is falling. And now the Vikings are free to just focus down every single one of these carriers. 2 of them go down. Very nice fight there for Time. How many carriers did he get? Yeah, he got 2 carriers. Not bad. But the worrisome part is that those carriers are being replaced by Tempests. Ugh. And that Lib count got quite low. Only 4 Libs remaining. Here we go. Time is desperately trying to get this base up and running. Oh god, is this it? Do you have another sick EMP? Is it going to be enough? Liberators can't live long enough to take out the disruptors. Vikings are coming in though, almost enough to one-shot. 2 more carriers go down. But this base is so ambitious. Time will not keep this. This will not stay up and running. And that's important because now ShoWTimE is up a base. He has the center, the center. But he's not mining, to be fair. Like, where is that lib? Ah, it's up here towards the north. Up. We'll get cleaned up. Oh, we have a ghost on the way. I'm sure we're going to have a nuke at some point. Oh, nice Widowmine shot. And there it is. We have the nuke towards the north. Okay, never mind. Ghost did get picked up. But yeah, like, this is such an important base for ShoWTimE. And Time is aware of that. He will try and deal with this at some point, whether it's with a Liberator or a nuke. Yeah, I came to realize that we are in a split map scenario. There we go. More EMPs do connect, but only with Stalkers. Not so much with the Carriers or the Tempests. More of these Liberators are getting picked up. Vikings can't really zone them out. They're trying. At the same time, here we go. Marines and Marauders go towards the northern side of the map. But there are enough. There's enough supply here to warp in and defend. He's trying to deny this base so badly. Oh god. I'm trying to think, would it be worth rotating all of this towards the north? Maybe. There's just so many shield batteries here as well. Like, it's so difficult trying to force yourself through these slow zones. Speaking of, we do see a storm on top of some of these Liberators. Liberators are bunched up quite a bit. And again, like, the Tempests, they just keep getting more value. They just keep trading so well. Look at the banks. Time, he just keeps losing army and he keeps having to replenish it. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE has been so efficient. What I will say is that if one big fight goes ShoWTimE's way, then he can snowball and it'll cause a domino effect. But he needs that desperately. He needs that one big fight. He's finding a lot of room. Solid EMP on the High Templar. And here we go. The libs are coming in. This is going to be the final fight of the game. Purification Novas are going off and do get some decent connections. And ShoWTimE's he gives up this location. The Nexus will go down, and so will all of these shield batteries. But is there enough to keep going? He's going to try. He's trying to leapfrog as best he can. Vikings are able to pick off another carrier. Not bad. And what's important is that now, where's all that stack defense? Where are all those shield batteries? They're non-existent. Like, this is best case scenario for Time. He can keep going. Oh, he turns around. Goes back. Don't let him get more shield batteries up, puppy. Don't do it. Oh, God, he's going to have to fight here. Takes out an Oracle. Do we have a High Templar? We do. There's not enough energy for Storm. No, there is. There is Storm energy. Oh, God, the EMPs. The EMPs. Oh, he doesn't get the High Templar. Oh, God. Like, one good storm is all ShoWTimE needs, I feel. Got the control. Do we have any EMP energy? We do. We do have EMPs available. ShoWTimE has to make sure he splits up his High Templar, and he does. But, slowly but surely, Liberators, they're pushing this back. Time. He's rebuilding his army. He's actually running out of resources. Like this base is so important. Finally, he gets it up and running. This is keeping him in this game. This base right here. Like, you can see, Time has 0 mineral bank. Like, as soon as he makes any money, he spends it, mate. Ugh. And the problem is that, like, any kind of ground that he got here, like, it's kind of been mute at this point. Like, I don't know, man. Another storm connects, decent EMPs, but there's still plenty of High Templar. Like, I love this. ShoWTimE is intentionally keeping 3 High Templar in the back. Intentionally, they're all the way back here for whenever he needs them. Like, they will not get EMP'd. Oh, we see another storm. And I feel like as long as ShoWTimE has these High Templar, like, he's fine. Like, he can just keep poking in, trading, rebuilding. He loses like a Tempest here or there. It doesn't matter. Like, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. Like, these are solid EMPs, but they're not getting what they need. Like, sure, he gets all the like, all the Tempests just got EMP'd, by the way. Like, that's insane. But he can't push in because he's just gonna get stormed. Oh, God. He's stuck. Yo! The SCV hit squad! Go for the High Templar! He's going for the surround instead! Mate, I would have loved it if those SCVs went for one of those High Templar. They probably could have killed one, honestly. When I saw it on the minimap, I was like, yo, a hit squad just to kill the High Templar? That's pretty big brain, but alas, it did not happen. Ugh. Again, like, I almost feel like Time shouldn't be getting these EMPs. Like, as in, like, I think it's a bad idea. Because he keeps losing ghosts. Like, every single time he goes in, he gets one good EMP, then he loses a ghost. And it's like, it's not worth it. He's going in again. I mean, at the same time, like, the EMPs are keeping ShoWTimE back. They're stopping him from pushing forward, to be fair. Ooh, one High Templar goes down. Let's have a look. We have 4 High Templar. There's only 4 High Templar left. Now there's 5. That's just, never mind. Oh, he's going for it. There we go. We do see the EMPs connect. But again, they don't connect with the High Templar. The purification of is going off. Oh, and they do find some connections with the Bio. He's trying to dodge the storms, but there's still so many more storms behind all of this. He does find more ground. Oh, God, but there's the storm. No! Oh, the Vikings! Oh, I think that's game. Almost every single Viking just bunched up for that storm. Ah, no. Time was fighting so well this game. He was fighting so well, but I think those storms just sealed the deal. Yeah, he knows he can't fight this anymore. He's forced to go all the way back. And like he's just broke. That's just it. Now he's run out of gas as well. He just has no money. Nervous are going off. Top right is mined out. It's gold, everything. There's just one mining base here and he didn't even take the gases. GG gets called, and ShoWTimE will fight back in this series on Blackburn and take game number 2. Oof. GG. This kind of feels like a PvZ. Yeah, it was a... There's a reason why people avoid late game PvT. Because it can turn into this. And unfortunately, Time ran out of money. He got that center, that bottom center base, but he never took the gases. That was pretty important, to be honest. Like, we saw that he had 0 gas at the end. He needed to take those gases, but even if he had those gases, like, we saw how the fights were going. Oof. Like, I don't think Time was playing poorly whatsoever, but he needed a better way to deal with that army. He needed to either just rotate, like, the problem is he couldn't rotate because he had to protect that base. He had to protect the bottom left, sorry, the center left. So he was forced to fight there. But he had to do something like try and like get like a hit squad to get behind enemy lines and try and get on top of those High Templar, whether it's EMP or just focusing them down with Marines and Marauders, like whatever it takes to stop those High Templar. And he just didn't have an answer. He just kept trying to push forward. He just kept trying to break the front, and that was never going to happen. He was just running into a brick wall. He was running into the Mao. The German wall, mate. And here we go. Lobby has been made. Time needed a little bit. He needed a moment to recuperate himself. So I don't blame him, especially after a game like that. Did have to take a bit of a breather. But now he is back. And now we are diving into game number 3. Bearing in mind, this is not a best of 3. This is a best of 5. So we still have a couple more games ahead of us. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the German Protoss player representing Team Big. He is Demau. He is ShoWTimE. And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres ALE, we have the best player in all of China representing KZ Gaming. KZG. It is time. And that was an intense game. Like I'm feeling some of the effects of that, mate. I'm like, oh my god. Jesus Christ. Oh, but yes, as Alexa Boy in the chat is asking, what is the score? The score is 1-1, as you can see on the screen right now. And again, this is a best of 5, so we have at least 2 more games ahead of us. We could go all the way to game 5. It's possible, it's possible. But we shall see. I do agree with someone else in the chat in the sense that someone said that Time doesn't have a lot of experience in late game PvT. And it shows because, for those of you who are wondering, even though I'm saying that Time is the best player in China, Time did not win DreamHack Winter for his region. Cyan did, a Protoss player. So Time, I do want to say that his weakest matchup is TVP. And he can struggle in the late game. So that also leads into why he was so aggressive in game number 2. I know it was a long time ago, but he opened up with, you know, fast Reapers, with a bunker, into a 3 racks. Like, he was just hitting non-stop. He even had that Doom drop into the main base, if you remember. And it cost him. But like, you saw how desperate he was to get damage done and to stop the game from going on any longer. And unfortunately, like, when you're up against someone like ShoWTimE, it's so difficult to break the defenses because, for those of you who don't know, ShoWTimE, he's known for his defense. Like, that's kind of what he's made his name off of. Like, that's what all his reputation is about. So it's just so difficult to pull that off. It's not impossible, just difficult. So we'll see. We'll see if we end up in another late game scenario like that. We already see that Time is being a little bit cheeky. Does have a proxy factory down here towards the bottom right. I wouldn't be surprised if he also proxies his starport as well for a bit of a Hellion drop. But we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that proxy. Meanwhile, quickly looking at the vision from ShoWTimE, he was able to get across the map, but again, has very limited information to work with. Isn't going to be able to see this. He's trying to scout a little bit with his adepts, but so far the factory has been hidden, and there is that starport as well. So it is going to be a bit of a Hellion drop, and this has a lot of potential to deal damage, again, if unscouted, and if ShoWTimE isn't aware that something is amiss. Up! And part of that is making sure this adept doesn't get into the main base. If this adept gets in, he's going to see the gases, he's going to notice the production and be like, hold on, something is missing, something is not right. There should be more here. Where is your factory? So again, it's so important for ShoWTimE to just keep, for Time to keep ShoWTimE in the dark. Meanwhile, once again, for the second game in a row, we do see a Oracle opening, a Stargate opening, I should say. Actually, never mind. this was in game 1, not in game 2. But the Oracle is going across the map, and this Oracle has two purposes. One, sure, dealing some damage, that's important, but more importantly, it is to scout the production and to recognize what Time went for in the early game. Meanwhile, here we go. The Oracle is zooming across the map. At the same time, in comes the drop, but it gets spotted by the probe. Did ShoWTimE notice? Like, the probe saw it, but he's not responding. In comes the Hellions. Oh god, he doesn't respond in time. Workers are going to fall, and there's only an adept here to defend. At the same time, the Oracle goes down! No! We even have one Oracle here to defend, but this is kind of... Oh, the micro! He's keeping his Hellions alive! Oh my god, and the Oracle is out of energy! Oh, he just barely has enough to clean up the Hellions. That could have been a lot worse. Regardless, 8 probes went down. And the Oracle kind of went down for free. My god. And with that, Time has a very nice early game. Not just that, but behind this, you know, he was focusing on his Raxes at home. Stim is more than halfway done. He has a decent bio army. He's getting ready for the next wave. He's getting ready to push out across the map. And it's going to be that much harder for ShoWTimE to keep eyes on things because he only has one Oracle. Oh boy, meanwhile he's working on his Twilight Council, he's working on his upgrades, and I'm a little bit concerned because here we go, drop is going across the map. Thankfully for ShoWTimE, it's only a single drop. It's not like everything is going across the map. ShoWTimE, sorry, god damn it. Time is keeping some army here at home, and it will help deal with this Oracle. He did only kill one of them, not both. Meanwhile, Phoenix is at home, looking to find that drop. Oh, can he find it? Up! And it looks like he will, but a little bit too late. The Marines do get dropped into the main base. And what can they get done? They're going to try and stim in. Stim did complete just at the drop. Oh my god, can he get the workers? The focus fire! Oh my god. It does get 4 of them, and he gets the Phoenix. Without the Phoenix, again, there's no blink. On ShoWTimE, he cannot deny this drop. Beautifully done by Time. It could have been worse for ShoWTimE, definitely. Like, more probes could have gone down. But regardless, like, no Marines were lost. All 6 of them are still alive. Like, that was a beautifully done drop. Time isn't done. Here we go. In come the reinforcements. The Marines and Marauders, they're headed towards that 3rd base, but there is a stasis. Will Time notice in time? Oh, yeah, he's actually rotating around. Oh my god. He's avoiding the stasis trap. A little bit unknowingly, but he's doing it. Meanwhile, we do have a force field. Sentries putting in a lot of work here for ShoWTimE, keeping him alive. If it wasn't for these sentries, then honestly, he could be dead right now. Like, Time is far ahead in the supply. But with 2 sentries, there's plenty of energy to throw down those force fields. Meanwhile, we have a Doom Drop going to the main base. Blink isn't done! ShoWTimE can't deny this! Oh my god, and he doesn't respond either! We do see the massive drop into the main base. Blink is about to finish up, but it doesn't even matter. GG gets called. And Time takes a lead in this series. Oof. Wow. GG. And now, he only needs one more, uno más, to qualify for DreamHack Last Chance. Mate, he is so close. Can he do it? Also, I should be doing this. Hold on. Ha! I need to set this as a best of 5. Apply format. Ha! There we go. So in between games, if someone is asking what the score is, there we go. It's on the screen, as you can see. Ah, and there we go. Lobby has been made. We're getting ready to jump in. And as we get into this game, potentially the final game of the series, I do want to give some credit to both of our players and be like, mate, this has been an intense series. It's been back and forth. We've seen late game TVP. We've seen early game aggression. We've seen some all-ins. It's been good. It's been a solid series. Oh, which you don't get all the time, you know? Oh, God, I said it again. I keep saying time. Alright, here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Chinese Terran currently up 2-1 in this best of 5 qualifying match. He only needs one more to qualify for DreamHack Last Chance. Representing KZ Gaming, KZG, it is time. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the German Protoss player himself, representing big, because he is quite big. He is Demao. He's currently down in the series, but not out. He needs to win this game to take it to the ace match. It is ShoWTimE. Oh. Beautiful. Just catching up in the chat, and yeah, there are a lot of people talking about TVP, Chinese TVP at that, and I mean, yeah, the Protoss players in China, despite there being a decent amount of them, you know, they do have their own meta. They do play things a little bit differently, and like, personally, that's why I love watching when 2 regions collide, China and Europe. You know, Time, he doesn't play too often against European players. Only in these major events, so it's always a treat whenever it happens. And there are pros and cons to it. The biggest thing is that the metas that clash, right? Like the way that players compete in China, just like how they compete in Southeast Asia or Latin America or Korea, they differ from Europe. vice versa, right? So I mean, that's my favorite part about StarCraft. That's why, I mean, everyone loves it, right? Everyone loves watching like the Koreans go up against the Americans or the Europeans and all that stuff, you know? It's something a little bit different, and it's always great to see. Everyone wants to know, you know, hey, Time is the best Terran in China. How does he compare to the best Protoss in Europe? You know, where does he rank amongst the European players? Because, you know, he doesn't ladder on EU. They don't play too often. Like, how does he stand against them? We're finding out that, hey, he stands pretty tall. Tall enough to beat ShoWTimE? We'll find out. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. It's still game 4. Oh boy. Speaking of, this time Time didn't really go for anything too crazy. I say that, but he does have a hidden Rax here behind the mineral line. There wasn't a proxy, is what I was getting at. There was no proxy factory like last time. There was no fast bunker or anything. And this is what I love about Time, is that he has been approaching all of these games a little bit differently. You know, he doesn't go for the same opener game after game after game like some other Terrans do. They like find like your innovations, for example. They find like their perfect way of playing like a matchup, and they just go for it time and time again because they know how good they are at it. But instead here, you know, Time is going for something a little bit cheeky, more of a 2-1-1 opener, something you don't see too often in this matchup. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE once again commits to this Stargate, and there are pros and cons to it, right? Sure, it does mean that things like Blink are delayed, and it does hinder your main army, but you get a lot more secure and safe because of your scouting information. You get across the map, yeah, you can get a couple of workers, and that's kind of a bonus, but more importantly, you ideally get to see this opener and are able to respond in time. ShoWTimE is now headed across the map with his Oracle. Hopefully he's able to avoid that Widow Mine. There is a Widow Mine here hidden in the gases. Okay. He has to be careful not to get too close to the gases, and he does get one of the SCVs. He does notice the Widow Mine, and there we go. He even gets a second, and he confirms all of the production. Oh my god, is he going to get more? Like 3 SCV kills is already not bad at all. And the full scout. Beautifully done by ShoWTimE. Now he can prepare. He can get ready at home. Do have more tech on the way. And again, with this Oracle, he's going to be able to keep an eye on these Marines, tag them if need be, and see if they ever decide to move out across the map. As again, Time can hit a very strong timing with Stim, sure. But I do also think that, especially because he got scattered and all that stuff, like, he is thinking about the next step. He throws down his engineering base so he can work on his upgrades, work on +1. He's not putting all his eggs in one basket. In ShoWTimE, he just takes another base. And again, you have the freedom to do so because you have these oracles. Like, if an army ever moved out, ShoWTimE should see it. I say as he comes back home before scouting the army. I'm a little bit scared. Why did the oracles come back home? I don't know. Because he didn't see this. I'm pretty sure he didn't see this. Finally, he moves out with his Phoenix as well. He will spot a Marine, and finally he sees the army. Oh, is this too late though? We'll see. We do see a scan. A couple of Adepts? Is that really going to be enough? Tank does get up. Oh, the Widow Mines! Are we going to see a shot go off? We do not. The CC is good enough. The tank will go down. And with a shield battery with overcharge as well, there is just barely enough. Yo, the lift on those Widow Mines was so clutch. If even one of those Widow Mine shots got off, it's possible that Time would have been able to break through and not just kill the army, but deny this third base. Like, that was kind of close. I was not comfortable with that. Oh god. Meanwhile, we do see a drop into the main base. The Phoenix is in position to scout this. It doesn't deny it, but it does give ShoWTimE a little bit of opportunity to respond. Meanwhile, we do see a stim into the mineral line. He will get a couple of probes and, oh, actually depowered the Stargate. Oh my god. He has to be careful about fighting these Adepts, but there we go. We do see him pick up and try and get out of here. The Phoenixes are going to try and chase this down, and one of the medevacs is quite low, so he has to unload. And again, even though Time didn't get the damage he wanted at the third base, that drop into the main made it kind of worth it. He still did end up losing a tank and 2 Widow Mines, which is less than ideal, but oh my god, this is what's important. This Oracle and these Phoenixes, they're at home. ShoWTimE has zero vision out on the map. He doesn't know that another wave is coming. god. Instead, the entire, like, all of his attention is here on this drop. Here come the reinforcements, more Widow Mines. There are only 2 Phoenixes to lift things up, but here we go, more Phoenixes are on the way. Again, the lifts are going to be so important to try and deny these Widow Mine shots. Here we go, the army sims on forward. It's going to be able to depower some of this production. Up, the Widow Mine's up, the Immortal! Oh, the Immortal takes a lot of damage, but it does not go down. The army sims forward, gets in, another Widow Mine gets picked up. Is there enough? The Colossus comes out just in time to die as it gets focused down. Not just the Colossus, all the gateway units, the Immortal as well, everything! And GG gets called. Time does it. He takes the series 3-1. He takes down arguably the best Protoss in Europe to qualify for DreamHack Last Chance. Oh my god. And again, a lot of that was because ShoWTimE wasn't aware of the situation. He didn't have any shield batteries at the natural. He didn't know the army was coming because all of his air units were at home. He was too worried about the drop. GG. Oh. Oh my god. GG. Well, I gotta report this to the admins. GG. Well played. Time does take the series. Oh my god. I just had to fanfare again there. He does take the series 3-1, proving that, hey, his TVP may not be his best matchup, but it's good enough. It's good enough to take down someone of the caliber of ShoWTimE. What I will say, you know, to give ShoWTimE fans a little bit of room, or a little bit of a, god, what's it called? Like an olive branch, is that ShoWTimE was playing with high ping, right? He is playing on the NA server from Europe, so it's less than ideal. But regardless, a very, very strong result from Time, and again, congratulations, well deserved, because he did not have an easy road here. He took down Eric from Latin America, he took down Scarlet from NA, and he took down ShoWTimE from Europe. So very well deserved there by Time. And yeah, congratulations. With that, Time is the very first player to qualify through our final NA qualifier here. Congratulations. Congratulations. And now we have to find another series. Oh god. Now we have to try and find another series. I think ShoWTimE, he's not out of the tournament. ShoWTimE is not out of the tournament. He gets knocked down to the lower bracket, so he will have another chance to qualify. So if you're a ShoWTimE fan, don't worry. He's still in this. It's still possible for him to get out. And I believe he is going to be waiting for the winner of a laser and his series.